Hi all, and welcome back to Intersections, our short-form content series exploring the new iProspect and industry shifts in consumer interactions and digital behaviors to accelerate growth for brands. I'm excited to be joined today by two brilliant minds helping to bring the new iProspect promise to life. Michelle Snodgrass, EVP Head of Strategy, and Emily Anthony, SVP Head of Integrated Planning at iProspect US. Michelle and Emily, thanks so much for joining today.
Thanks for having us, Chelsea. This is great.
Yeah, thrilled to be here.
We'd love to kick it off with introducing yourselves and sharing a bit about your current roles and focus.
Sure. Well, I'm Michelle. I am, as you mentioned, the head of the strategy practice at iProspect. Strategy is always that word that nobody really knows how to define, so I will do it for you in the sake of iProspect. The strategy discipline at iProspect really comprises of two things. It is that more experienced strategy, so really understanding how we take a consumer journey and make sure that we have communications that is at that intersection of creative and media at all of those stages of that journey with our brands. And then we also have more of that identity practice and really understanding our consumers, where we do everything from segmentation to audience insights, audience playbooks, really understanding the fundamentals of who people are when they are in market as well as out of market. For our brands.
And I'm Emily. I lead our integrated planning discipline here at iProspect. And that means taking all of the goodness from Michelle's organization and really putting that to work within the media plan. So our focus through our intersections approach is accelerating brands with a performance mindset. So that's through key things like our communications planning approach, building communication architecture, channel mix, planning investment strategy, and ultimately making sure that our overarching strategy connects directly into activation and media channels.
Great. So in our last episode, we sat down with Liz and Amanda to discuss the vision of iProspect to accelerate future-ready brands through relevant customer experiences. What can we expect to see from iProspect this year that will deliver on that promise?
You know, I think at the heart of it, iProspect has always been known as being a performance powerhouse. We just recently won Media Post Performance Agency of the Year, which was great celebration and a great way to kick things off going into 2024. So we're really excited about that. But I think also a big piece of our identity is really a big piece of what iProspect has brought to the table, as well as Merkle Media brought to the table for the past few years. So really that combination of performance powerhouse and the identity heritage that we have are really our two key superpowers that we want to bring to all of our clients in 2024 and really help them transform themselves as more of a modern marketing agency. I think some of the big things that you'll see that are shifts as we think about how that changes some of our clients' business. One is just a change of talking in things in marketing funnels to flywheels. That's something that we really believe in. A fundamental core of it is that media is more than just a engine to push messages out into the market. It's also a relationship engine. And so when we are thinking about the customer experience, we want to make sure that we're talking about not just converting demand, which we are amazing at, given that performance powerhouse capability, but also creating demand and nurturing that demand, which gets us to that kind of flywheel approach of making sure that we are looking at that holistic customer experience, that we are really identifying what are some of the tensions and things that are accelerating our growth throughout that flywheel, to make sure that we're delivering the best experience to our customers and to our clients. So I think that's probably some of the newer things that you'll probably see from iProspect in the coming year is really that create demand piece that you maybe haven't thought of iProspect for in the past, as well as some of that nurturing demand that really comes from that great CX experience.
Yeah. And I guess another way to think about it, right, is not necessarily what's different, but what's evolved, right? That performance heritage has always been part of our approach. But how do we bring that performance mindset to every media intersection in a modern and relevant way? So there's a couple pieces to that, right? As Michelle mentioned, thinking really about CX, so that evolution from funnel, traditional, to customer-centered flywheel. And so for my team in particular, right, there's a couple things we're particularly focused on. So one is really taking that performance lens to traditional comms planning, right? How can we think about really putting the customer first party data at the center of how we're making decisions, how we're uncovering barriers for the audience that we're going to solve through media touch points, and really aligning the media to creative and activation. A huge piece of how we do that is through identity. So folks might be familiar with M1 Mercury. There's been a huge amount of work and effort in really kind of reimagining that solution and tech stack specifically for media outcomes. So new tools at our disposal, new ways that we're integrating that into our intersections process, again, to focus on delivering business outcomes for our clients.
Today, consumer identity and performance-driven mindset has increasingly become interdependent for brands to accelerate growth. With Merkle Media and iProspect coming together, we are able to be a transformative business partner to deliver just that. What are you personally most excited for in 2024 at iProspect for you and your teams?
Well, I think first of all, it's pretty amazing. We have what we internally call ourselves the dream team at iProspect. I think first and foremost, you have some of the smartest minds in the industry that are working for iProspect today, and really just the fundamental people that are going to help transform your business. I mean, I'm excited to even be here on the call with Emily today. She's, in my time working with her, she's one of the most brilliant integrated planning minds I've been able to work with. So I think just the energy and excitement that we have from the team, and just that deep expertise that really I haven't seen anywhere else, is going to drive some of that excitement. Now, beyond that, getting down to like the brilliant basic tax of what we do here, I think for my team especially, being able to get a glimpse into the full consumer journey and bringing more of that journey work to our customers, to be able to identify opportunities for innovation within that, for creativity within performance media for that. Those are going to be the kind of key areas of focus, at least from a strategy perspective going into 2024, is really how we bring that full experience to life for consumers.
I couldn't agree more with Michelle. We just have a really fantastic team, right? So, I've been with the organization for a long time. I've had an opportunity to work with many of the folks who comprise the leadership team at iProspect, and they're fantastic people. Not only are they brilliant, but they're fun to work with, they're kind, right? All of the types of folks that you want to surround yourself with when we are on this growth journey. I'll say that's true for our clients as well, right? I think we have a number of clients who are very like-minded. They're looking to transform their business. They're looking to transform their media programs. And, we have a kind of culture of growth and challenging the status quo. So, to be in it with people who share that same passion, both within our team and on the client side, is really exciting. I'll say personally, right, something I've long admired about the iProspect organization is just a level of rigor around strategy, insights, and planning. The opportunity to kind of take advantage of that, build on it with a lot of the data tech solutions that come from the legacy Merkle organization. There's a lot there that we're starting to dig into and bring to bear in a meaningful way for our clients.
I love that. As media channels and consumer behavior and preferences of consumption are constantly evolving, now more than ever, innovation takes a unique and critical role within media plans. Yet, people-based planning is not a new approach. If anything, it is table stakes for the industry. How do you view innovation within integrated planning?
The philosophy that we've already usually applied to innovation is one that innovation really lies at the intersection of a consumer tension and the technology that helps solve for that, right? That all comes down to better experiences, making sure that we are leveraging innovation to cut any type of barrier that's happening throughout that consumer journey, or help solving problems that maybe customers haven't even found yet, but that could be something that's holding up their barrier to conversion or their ability to connect with us as a brand. So to me, that's where really innovation can play that strongest role, is helping us make sure that those experiences are connected, that they feel more personalized for each individual that is building a relationship with us, but also helping us keep those customers longer and happier longer, and being able to really think about that experience as holistic and not just a small part of the marketing journey.
Chelsea, I think you said something interesting there around people-based planning being table stakes. And I do think we're pushing that further with the concept of identity at this point, right? And we have a proprietary solution through Mercury that allows us to really evolve how we think about marketing people-based planning to bear for our clients and media. And that is an unequivocal POV that we have here at iProspect, that identity is really table stakes for creating competitive advantage. So that's media that's powered by identity, right? Understanding and reaching real people, not proxies, is where we're able to create competitive advantage. So you hear naysayers, right, on the topic of identity. There are challenges with scale, that the fragmentation in the ecosystem really makes it challenging to execute against. But we have spent a huge amount of time and resources really investing in our Mercury solutions specifically for media applications. So that's something that we're hugely excited about, and the way that we're bringing that to bear through our intersections planning process. Right, we understand that not all of our clients are ready with first-party data or feel ready with first-party data. So we're working with folks in the space who, in some cases, do have a very mature CRM that they're ready to figure out how to deploy within media or put to work within media. But we have other clients, right, who are still in the process of, we know we need to get there, but how do we build that first-party data asset? So whether it's taking kind of a mature first-party data strategy and figuring out how to accelerate your media performance with that data as the foundation, or, right, it's, we need a partner to figure out how to build this so that we can leverage it in the way that we're seeing other aspirational brands do so. That's something that we're focused on this year, helping clients go on that performance transformation journey, or really starting with the identity transformation journey necessary to get to that point.
So what's one thing the industry needs to talk more about, but they aren't?
I love this topic so much because I think could be a little controversial as well. But I think as marketers, sometimes we get so excited about what we can do that sometimes we don't always stop and take a moment to ask, should we do it? And I think especially now with all of the just fundamental changes with AI and, how we are looking at carbon emissions and everything, there's just a lot out there that we need to take a step back and really make sure that we are doing the right thing for people, for the world, being more of that force for good in the marketplace. And that's something that's really important to us at iProspect. There's a couple of things that we've been doing just like across to be able to help with that. One being we have a huge initiative at the global level that is around really understanding how much carbon emissions are coming from our media, but also being able to take that knowledge and build that into the planning tools that we have available to us and actually optimize our plans against that. So being able to make decisions on which media plan actually is still going to drive that business performance for you at the end of the day, but also won't be one that's better for the world, I think is some fundamental changes that we need to all be talking about more, about how we can be better at that across the board. I think the same thing comes from, a lot of our DE&I initiatives. Being able to make sure that we are doing good for people is also a fundamental part of that. We've done a lot of work around economic empowerment that I feel really proud of. Is something that makes me excited to come to work every day, is that we are striving forward in a lot of those areas. And so I think it's just one thing, and there's a whole conversation to be had around ethical AI as well. But I think taking those beats and moments to make sure that we're doing the right thing and not just because we can do it is something that we all need to consider.
It's such a good answer, Michelle. I think as performance marketers, right, you sometimes see that initiatives like Force for Good become kind of a nice to have, right? We're starting with our ROI commitments and objectives, but they're not mutually exclusive. As Michelle was alluding to, we have a number of solutions that are built or ways that we can bring a Force for Good into the performance conversation in a meaningful way.
All right, to round out this episode, we're going to do a quick round Q&A. So what's one thing you didn't see coming in 2023?
Emily and I actually were talking a little bit about this, but I think the biggest thing was the transfer of Twitter to X. I could actually see more of the remarks that Elon made to advertisers. Those didn't surprise me as much as the transfer of the name from Twitter to X. So that was a big one for me.
There has been so much that has been in the news cycle this year, right, that brands have had to respond to. I think both from like a brand value standpoint and belief standpoint, right, but also from a brand safety standpoint. So it has been certainly a year through that lens. I mean, jokingly, right, the other thing Michelle and I were talking about is Taylor and Travis, NFL Taylor's version. Nobody saw that coming. But as I've thought about that more from a professional standpoint, I was thinking about like the intersection kind of content and culture and the opportunity that creates for marketers. So I guess it isn't technically this year, but like Ted Lasso to Welcome to Wrexham and like a new audience that's looking at European football, right, through a new lens. And now you have kind of the same thing again with F1 from Drive to Survive. And, you know, there are additional US media opportunities that have been created with a new audience that's been brought into that fan base. And the latest and greatest, one might say, of a totally new female audience that's tuning into NFL. Ultimately, you know, we're not creating those opportunities. That's incredibly difficult to do through media, but we're taking advantage of that and being smart about how we enter media into the conversation and brands into the conversation. And you have to do that through the lens of audience, right? I signed up for the NFL Plus app, paid my dues, but I'm not signing up for the like almost $400 YouTube TV NFL subscription. So we need to know where some stands in terms of fan.
Emily, I think that the audience needs to know you did that because of Tay or no?
I would like to say that I did it purely from a professional research standpoint, but I might be a little bit of a Swiftie too.
I love that. I think we all are a little bit Swiftie, but I will not give the satisfaction of liking the NFL to my husband yet. So even Taylor Swift or not, I just cannot give him that satisfaction yet. So it might take a few more celebrities to get me there.
Oh, but Chelsea, you could totally play that card of, oh, it's so nice what Taylor Swift has done for the NFL, making it so much more popular.
I have thrown a small few jabs in the house, yes. So I'm on that track. What's one of your favorite buzzwords you might have overused in 2023?
Mine is flywheel. I don't stop talking about flywheels, as Emily could probably attest to. And I will still continue talking about it in 2024 because not everyone is a convert into the flywheel conversation just yet. But we need to move away from funnels and just thinking in that linear fashion and moving into a more holistic fashion. So I will continue to use flywheel.
Yeah. I think my answer is transformation, right? I cannot get through a conversation without using that word, whether we're talking about media transformation or digital transformation or marketing transformation or organizational transformation. If you're not transforming, you're behind. So, you know, rightfully so, I think it has a place in every combo.
So I guess you both just answered the next question. The next biggest buzzword in 2024.
I do have an answer outside of flywheel, believe it or not, for this one. But I think especially as we bring that experience and identity together, customer performance is going to be something that you hear a lot more about. It's not going to be just about driving business outcomes, but what is the business outcomes that we're driving against customer bases? And I think that's going to grow in popularity the next year.
I'll go with applied AI. I am very careful to always put the applied in front of AI. And, you know, surely that's a buzzword of 2023 as well. But I am really excited about some of the work that we are doing here within Dentsu. So probably heard a lot about Merkel's Gen CX solution, the plans that we have for applying that to media, all the way from insights, planning through activation, measurement, and optimization. Some really cool stuff on our roadmap there.
Speaking of AI, what's the most interesting thing you've asked ChatGPT this year?
I had ChatGPT help plan my Thanksgiving menu. I wanted a traditional menu with a modern twist, so I asked it for some suggestions and for the amount of people that I had, and it gave me a full menu. I thought that was pretty great.
We're going to need that output, Michelle, I think.
For sure.
We were with my nieces, the oldest of whom is not even in school yet, and she had a science workbook, and there was a word problem that was like, a princess is in a castle 2 miles away. If you shout hello, and it takes 1.5 miles for, it was like this whole sound distance equation that, to my credit, I sat through and like did out the algebra. But I was not confident in my answer, and I immediately like went in to ChatGPT to confirm that I had done my math correctly. It got me thinking, right? I think we have, like, that's the state of where we are, right? With ChatGPT and generative AI. There is this really delicate balance of using it for ideation, but needing to verify and kind of have our alternative sources. So there's some efficiency to be gained, but I think we're still trying to fill it out, make sure there's a level of trust and accuracy that we really need to use the outputs blindly.
Kudos for even trying to doing that algebra on paper. Like, I don't even know if I could even begin anymore.
I was like, I don't think I learned this until high school. What is this workbook?
Sorry, I just want to add on the verification piece. I thought that was that you brought that up, Emily, is something I use all the time. Just also to make sure especially sometimes in strategy, we can use a lot of fancy words for things. And I'm like, is the point getting across? So even sometimes putting a sentence in and saying okay, repeat back to me, what do you think this means? Has been helpful to make sure that we're being able to translate that to the audiences that are receiving our information as well.
That's a awesome pro tip.
Last but not least, what is one of your own personal goals for 2024?
I would love to be more intentional with my time in 2024. I can very easily get sucked into rabbit holes and then maybe forget about some other important things and have to build my, Thanksgiving menu off of ChatGPT. So being a little bit more intentional where I put my time is definitely a big goal of mine.
This is a little bit of a cop-out answer, but one of my biggest goals is just bringing our teams together, right? So the Legacy Merkle organization, which is a composite team in its own right, bringing that together with iProspect. We have such an opportunity ahead of us. I think we're all really energized by the vision and the potential. So getting our teams aligned and accelerating along that journey is something I'm really excited for.
Awesome. Well, Emily, Michelle, thank you so much for joining today. And thanks to our listeners for tuning into another episode of Intersections. Stay tuned for our third and final episode as we uncover media trends and predictions for 2024. Thanks all.